Hi there. Today we're going to talk about chemicals, toxins, medications, and foods that disrupt thyroid function. My name is Dr. Greg Celaya. I'd like to review a little thyroid physiology with you first. Your hypothalamus in your brain stimulates your pituitary to release TSH, or thyroid stimulating hormone. When your thyroid receives this hormone, it increases its production of T4, the inactive hormone, and also T3, the active hormone. The inactive hormone is converted in the liver and the gut and the peripheral tissue to the active form, where it goes to the cell receptor to stimulate the cell to increase its metabolism. Halides are a category on the periodic chart of elements, and they all have the same characteristics. Iodine is a halide and is very similar to bromide and fluoride. Iodine is used to make thyroid hormone, and think about it, it's used for every part of your body. Because bromide is also a halide, it competes for the same receptors that are used in the thyroid gland, and as a result can inhibit thyroid hormone production, resulting in hypothyroid. Bromide can be found in several forms. One of them is methyl bromide, which is used for pesticide on strawberries. Citrus drinks and other certain sodas use brominated vegetable oils as an emulsifier to help keep flavor suspended in the liquid. Potassium bromide is a dough conditioner found in commercial bakery products and some flours. Fluorides. A British study found a correlation between the amount of fluoride in public drinking water and underactive thyroid. Did you know that fluoride was used as a prescription drug for hyperactive thyroid patients up until the 1950s? In China, researchers have repeatedly found that iodine deficiency coupled with fluoride exposure produces a significantly more damaging effect on neurological development than iodine deficiency alone. Fluoride is so similar to iodine that it can easily replace iodine in thyroid hormone, creating hypothyroid issues. Most cities add fluoride to your drinking water and you don't have any option to opt out. My entire house is filtered and I suggest you do the same. In a study spearheaded by the Environmental Working Group in collaboration with Commonwealth, researchers at two major laboratories found an average of 200 industrial chemicals and pollutants in umbilical cord blood from 10 babies born in August and September of 2004 in U.S. hospitals. Perfluorinated chemicals. They're the active ingredients or the breakdown products of Teflon, Scotchgard, fabric and carpet protectors, and food wrap coatings. This is linked to cancer and birth defects and accumulates in the food chain. According to the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, people whose regular source of drinking water is found to have higher than normal levels of PFOAs or similar chemicals might consider using bottled water or installing activated carbon water filters. But the EPA doesn't regulate these levels of PFOA. The EPA's Scientific Advisory Board examined the evidence on PFOAs, mainly from studies in lab animals, and stated that there is suggestive evidence of carcinogenicity, but not significant to assess human carcinogenic potential. The board agreed and new evidence would be considered as it becomes available. I don't know about you, but I would wish they would err on the side of caution. Polychlorinated dibenzodioxins and furans. They're a byproduct of PVC production, and they're also linked to cancer. Organochloride pesticides. You remember DDT, chlorine, and other pesticides? They're banned in the U.S. in 1972. They persist for decades in the environment and they cause cancer. Polybrominated diphenyl esters, and they're flame retardants in furniture and foam, computers and televisions. Polychlorinated naphthalenes, which are wood preservatives, varnishes, machine lubricating oils, and waste incinerations. Just as a recap, these chemicals are found in the cord blood from babies at birth. You can imagine what you and I have been exposed to. And look at these chemicals. Many of them haven't been in existence since the 70s. Not only are these chemicals toxic, but they're also endocrine disruptors and can affect how your thyroid produces thyroid hormone. Metals can accumulate in our body and disrupt chemical reactions. Most people don't even know they have issues with metal until all other options are ruled out. The worst part about metals is that once they build up in your body, it can cause irreversible damage, and most doctors don't even know how to deal with metal toxicity. Trying to remove metal can make a person much worse. For example, metals can be a contributor to autoimmune issues, but trying to remove them when autoimmunity is flared up can make your condition much worse, or can lead to an additional autoimmune disease. Certain autoimmune conditions can be very bad and cause irreversible damage. Let's take, for example, mercury. Dental amalgams can be made up of 50% of mercury, and they're putting this stuff in your mouth. When it falls on the floor, it's a hazardous material, but when they put it in your mouth, it's okay. Be careful with mercury, and if you do have amalgam fillings, you have to make sure to get them removed the correct way, otherwise you may be worse. Fish can be another source of mercury toxicity. The larger the fish, the more time it's had to accumulate heavy metals. And if you're going to be doing fish oil, make sure that the fish oil is from small fish that haven't had time to accumulate this toxin. Vaccines are another form of mercury issues in the form of thimerosal. It's a preservative. You can also have mercury in contaminated water and as a byproduct of industrial manufacturing. Lead is another heavy metal that we have to be concerned about, and we can get lead from lead-based paints, leaded gasoline, contaminated water, manufacturing of lead batteries, rubber products, glass, and lead oxide fumes from demolition of industrial buildings. And the third metal we have to be concerned about is aluminum, and that can come from contaminated water, aluminum cooking pans and aluminum foil, antiperspirants, medications, some vaccines and flu shots, and aluminum baking powder and processed foods. The obvious medications that can affect thyroid hormone function are lithium, amiodarone, sulfonamides, bexarotene, ethionamide, anticonvulsants, iodine, interferon, high-dose glucocorticoids, oral cholecystographic agents, tyrosine kinase inhibitors, protein pump inhibitors, and angiogenesis inhibitors. I'm sure there are a lot more as well. Estrogens can also interfere with thyroid hormone conversion. Take, for example, birth control pills. You have a different amount of estrogen and progesterone, but they're usually estrogen dominant. Also, BPA was used as a synthetic estrogen until the 1930s. Scientists found if they mixed BPA with phosgene, which was used as a chemical weapon in World War I, it produced a clear shatter-resistant plastic. When these plastics get heated, BPA is released as a synthetic estrogen. Canada and France has banned BPA in products during contact with food, while it's still used in the US and regulated by each state. Estrogen creams can also cause conversion issues. And as a woman gets older, her progesterone level drops, which can lead to estrogen dominance. This can also cause hypothyroid issues. There are also foods you may want to avoid if you have thyroid problems. Gluten is number one. It can cause autoimmune diseases and, as a result, thyroid issues. Soy foods also contain phytoestrogens, which are compounds found in plants that are chemically similar to the hormone estrogen. Soy is also a goitrogen, which can interfere with the uptake of iodine and thereby causes a problem with thyroid peroxidase, the enzyme that's responsible for adding iodine during the production of thyroid hormones. I wouldn't be too concerned about eating miso soup or tofu, as they're fermented, and they don't exhibit the same issues. But if you want to play it safe, if you have hypothyroid, you might want to moderate your intake of soy products. Cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and others can also interfere with thyroid hormone, as they are also goitrogens. They have great anti-cancer properties, but make sure you eat them in moderation, and they should be cooked, as this reduces the goitrogenic effect. Sugar and processed foods cause inflammation in the body, and this inflammation causes a problem with conversion from T4 to T3. As you can see, there are a lot of toxins that can affect thyroid function. Some of the things may not be avoidable, so that means you need to keep the rest of your exposures as low as you can. You have to make sure to stay away from exogenous chemicals, food allergies or sensitivities, minimize your nutritional deficiencies, and also make sure that your detoxification system is strong so it can keep up with the stresses. I hope this helps. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you've learned some things about your health. If you'd like to know more, please go to my website, drcelaya.com, or you can schedule for a free 15-minute consultation or become a new patient. We'll look into your issues with lab work to get to the root cause of your problems. If you'd like to see more videos about your health, please subscribe below.